Mhm. So yes, Sibel Hocam, maybe you can introduce our lecturer.
Hello everyone. Hello Görsev Hocam. I'd like to thank you at the very beginning for dedicating your valuable time here and coming here to share your ideas with us. Let me give you some brief information about Görsev Hocam. Dr. Görsev Sönmez completed her BA in Marmara University ELT department. Then she has taught in public schools as an English teacher for 5 years. Then in 2007, she conducted her MA in Yeditepe University ELT department, and then she conducted her PhD. She completed her PhD in 2015 in the same university. She has worked as a head of the department in Hasan Kalyoncu University and Biruni University. She is currently working in translation and interpreting department as the head of the department there. She has been working in teacher education field for years. Lots of publications, both nationally and internationally. But I think what makes her one of the distinguishing things about Görsev Hocam is she looks so young, and it's very difficult to attain these features to her. You know, when you see her, you think she's a newly graduate. And also, because she has worked in the field, I think I value that a lot as an academic. She has practical ideas and knows what is really utopic and what can really be applied in our classrooms. So I just wanted to add this as a little note. Thank you again, Görsev Hocam. It's now over to you. We are ready to hear you.
Sibel Hocam, thank you so much for the compliment, first of all. Yes, I might seem a little bit younger, but I am over 40 and nearly 45 years old, and I have been working as a language teacher for over 23, 24 years. I never call myself as a language academic, but I am a teacher. I'm a language teacher because this is my dream job, and I always say the same thing. If I were born again, I would definitely be a language teacher once again.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Working with people, working with youngsters, even adult learners, just gives me the energy of life, actually. Life is not easy, and it is developing very frequently, and we have to catch the life, and the only way to catching life is working with kids, I guess. Even though I am a university academic right now, I always work with kids, work with high school students as a voluntary person, actually. I visit some schools, I teach, etc. I cannot leave the kitchen because kitchen feeds us as the language teacher, as language academic. If we do not know the needs, the problems of the teachers, hands-on, if we do not experience them, we cannot suggest any solutions. And they just stay in the shelves of our bookstores and they become nonsense. Whatever we do, whatever we research should have some implication for the classrooms of the teachers. This is valuable. This makes us valuable, actually. And this is what I have been trying to do, Sibel Hocam. Thank you so much for the information about me. Yes, and also thank you once again for inviting me. It is a great opportunity, even though it is virtual. Looking into the eyes of teachers, you, is really, it means a lot to me. Thank you. Yes, today I am here to talk about inquiry-based learning and teaching. Why inquiry-based learning? First of all, we are coming to the mid of 21st century, and it is information century, and 21st century skills are very important. Things are changing, methods are changing, approaches are changing, so teachers should change as well, of course. New things, new techniques, new strategies should be introduced to our teachers. I know most of you are very much familiar with the topic inquiry-based learning and teaching, but I will try to do my best to give you some hints, tips, how to implement those into your teaching in different levels and different classrooms, actually. Yes, let's continue. Okay. Now, what I'm going to talk about is, I will of course start with a kind of an introduction, then I will talk about inquiry-based learning, some theoretical information without boring you, no worries. Then I will try to create a kind of a bond between theory and practice. Then how can IBL be implemented in foreign language teaching and learning? And using questions to promote inquiry-based learning is very important. I'm not sure whether we are culturally really good at asking thought-provoking questions. Yes, questions, closed questions, direct questions, okay. Do you understand? Yes. Do you have any questions? No. These two type of questions are unfortunately very common. However, we have to be knowledgeable about asking thought-provoking questions. And of course, in the end of my presentation, I will give some benefits, and I will talk about the challenges of applying inquiry-based learning. Then, of course, the implications. Without implication, research, study, presentation means nothing, actually. Okay, as I have told you, we are in the 21st century. Things are changing, students are changing. Generation Z is also saying goodbye to us. Alpha generation is coming, so we have to adapt to the new coming students, and we have to learn new things. We have to improve ourselves. You know, acceleration of technology is unstoppable. It accelerates every passing day. The mobile phones, the applications now, ChatGPT, etc. Lots of new things are coming, and it is also becoming very difficult to keep students within the borders of classroom. So it is also becoming more and more difficult to take the attention of our students to the topic, on the topic. So new things are needed. And new skills, of course, are also needed in the community when our students enter in the market, in the job market, when they have their jobs in future, they will be required to have innovative thinking, you know, and they are also expected to have information, technological information. Additionally, they are also expected to have good, effective communicative skills, actually. They should also be good at working in groups. Teamwork is also very important. In addition to them, life and career skills are also being paid much more attention. So let's summarize them. Creativity and inquiry mindset, they are both getting the focus, both in the research area and also the practical area. And this is the big question, I guess. Our educational institutions, our teachers, our teacher education programs, our materials, our teaching pedagogies, parents, students, ready for this change? Let's keep this question in our minds, and I will try to make your minds a little bit clear in the end of this speech, actually. Are we really ready? Of course. I guess no, but we have to be ready. Now, here comes the answer. If we try to, at least, make use of inquiry as an important strategy in our daily lives, we can become much more familiar and effective in terms of these problems, and we can overcome them. You can tell me, is it a really something magical thing? Of course, there is nothing called magical. Of course, we cannot say that it solves everything. It gives any related necessary idea or talent to our students. However, it helps them. So inquiry is very much related to questioning, is very much related to research skills. So parents at home should start making their children inquire about things. So the children ask questions. I have a 5-year-old boy, asks hundreds of questions a day. So it is something very much valuable, actually. We should make use of it, and we should also get engaged in the research process with our students and children, starting from home and also in the classroom. So I always help my child to find answers to the questions. I do not want to give the answer, even though, of course, I can explain in a good way. I'm also a person who is very much interested in child psychology, child pedagogy. But this is not the point. Making your children research, making your children teach or learn how to find answers for some questions. This is very much valuable. Instead of spoon feeding, make them learn themselves. A few days ago, I have attended a workshop, and in that workshop, the valuable academic explained something very much true. She said that there is something called Google. When they type, even though they are not literate, my boy just uses the microphone in the Google, asks something and listens to the answer. So the information is there. Instead of teaching the information, we have to teach them how to reach the information, how to make use of that information creatively, innovatively in their lives. This is very much important for the needs of the 21st century. Okay, now a little bit theory. Inquiry is a systematic investigation of a matter of public interest. Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines inquiry like this. And inquiry-based learning is defined by Alberto Edu and Lee and Lim. Inquiry-based learning is a learning approach where students are active agents of their own learning process, and it is a concept encouraging teachers to involve their students in exploring problems close to real life. So when it comes to the point of real life, then we have to think about our classroom environment. Is it really a good representative of real life? Do we really involve real life problems in the classroom? Or is it a kind of a model, or is it a kind of a copy of something without being authentic? So I have to make a comparison between traditional teaching and learning process and inquiry-based learning process. Now, principal learning theory in traditional education is behaviorism, especially in our country, unfortunately still. It is very much dominant. And for inquiry-based learning, it is constructivism. gives importance to the schema of the students, background knowledge of the students. It does not accept the students as tabula rasa, right? They are not blank tables. They have some background information. You have to accept it and make them engage their background information into the new ideas and new theories and techniques. Students are very much active in inquiry-based learning. They are working hands-on. They are finding solutions. They are suggesting solutions. They are working in groups, and they have increased responsibility. They are responsible for their own learning process, and also they are responsible against other students that they work with. And students are problem solvers. However, in traditional education, students are direction followers, you know. It is process-oriented, whereas traditional education is product-oriented. And the teacher is the guide and the facilitator in the inquiry-based learning. However, in traditional education, unfortunately, the teacher is the director and the transmitter. Okay, I will give some information, some interesting information actually. You will find it interesting, I'm sure. There are some friends waiting in the waiting room. It pops up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've just accepted them.
Okay. Now, first known formal use of inquiry-based learning is in Manchester University Arts and Science program for junior students in 1980. So it means that it started in England nearly 45 years ago. And the procedure in this university, in this program, was like small groups of students were working together. They are collaborative, and the teachers from different faculties work together, and they plan, they deliver the lesson, and the outcome, the expected outcome is learning deeply, thinking critically, active control, precise, accurate, and clear in communication and participatory fashion. Now, I want to highlight something. Teachers from different faculties, interdisciplinary work. This is what IB, you know, International Baccalaureate Program, is very much famous right now. Lots of schools are trying to apply and get accreditation for their schools. Actually, it is not something new. It is based on inquiry, and inquiry-based learning and teaching is reformed, reshaped, and named as International Baccalaureate. Of course, it has some very beautiful advantages. I am one of the first people who brought IBAC certificate to our country when I was working at Hasan Kalyoncu University, actually. I am very much into the idea. However, things that we are trying to do now, trying to apply in our classrooms now, have been applied for over 40 years in different countries. I just wanted to highlight it. Okay. And now, I couldn't change the slide. Sorry for that. Okay. Now, what are the features of inquiry-based learning? I have told you when I was comparing traditional and inquiry-based learning. First of all, it is learner-centered, it is inquiry-oriented. Active and purposeful participation of students is very much valued. Construction of interdisciplinary knowledge, it is very important in collaboration, cooperation, and interaction. And authentic, experiential, meaningful activities focusing on higher order skills. When we say higher order skills, you know, we are talking about metacognitive skills, not cognitive, but metacognitive, which are about problem solving, which are about the strategies that the students can apply when they are facing with any kind of problem in their learning process. They can ask, of course, for help. They can ask for peers. They can ask for help for the teacher. Of course, it is very normal. It is within the process of teaching and learning. However, going to the source, finding the correct place to reach the solution is another ability and skill that the students should learn if they want to survive in the 21st century market, actually. Now, we said that it requires high quality pedagogy. What does it mean? High quality pedagogy. Now, we can think about it from the perspective of teachers. We can think about it from the perspective of students. I will not go into details of this, and it is recorded. I guess it is being recorded, so our teachers can watch it again and again, and if they want me, I can definitely share my presentation with them. But there are some important points. Help students, the last one, help students reflect on their learning. What worked, what didn't, and what will you do differently next time? Reflection is a very valuable component of inquiry-based learning. The students' awareness should be raised within the classroom. When they are learning, they will search for something, they will try to find some solutions, some ideas, they will try to apply them to overcome the problem. Sometimes they will overcome, sometimes they will fail, because it is a circle, the research circle, we all know it, but it may not work all the time. So what didn't go on the way? What helped them to reach the solution? What didn't help? So they have to be reflective enough to overcome the next possible problem. So overcoming problems is also a way of inquiry-based learning. So they may not be very good at the beginning, but in the meantime, they learn it. In terms of students, being open-minded, having time management, and becoming cooperative, supporting one another in the learning, scaffolding. These are not something new, actually. We have always been talking about these things, but the important point about inquiry-based learning is this. It combines them, and it creates a good package for the teachers to teach the students some valuable information and ideas for the 21st century. Now, there are 3 different types of inquiry. Structured. At first, teachers should start with structured inquiry. For example, a research problem can be assigned. Necessary materials and procedures can be explained. The aim is to help learners acquire new concepts, skills, reflection, and expertise. Then comes the guided one, semi-structured, we can say. A research problem again assigned. Materials and investigative instruments can be explained without giving names, etc. Students are required to develop their own procedures to reach a solution. The purpose is to help learners develop creativity, research skills, and detailed understanding. And here comes the open one. We can say that if a student can manage an open inquiry, then there's nothing to worry about that student actually. He can overcome any kind of problem in the teaching and learning, even in the career life. Students are responsible for finding a problem, planning a research design, investigating, and solving the problem in an independent manner. This is very important. Now, here comes the relation between inquiry-based learning and foreign language education. Of course, foreign language pedagogy, as any kind of pedagogy, has been developing and changing in the 21st century. There are lots of innovations in methods. You know, nowadays we are not talking about communicative language teaching. We are not talking about eclectic method, but we are talking about post-method pedagogy. What does it mean, post-method pedagogy? The teachers are autonomous. The teachers decide themselves and they find their own ways. And now, here, teachers are becoming less active. They are moderators and they are leaving the stage to the students. And the roles are changing, as I have told you. The strategies are changing. Cognitive approach is very much supported here, and of course, constructive. Students are coming to the class with different constructs. You can ask a student to draw a table. I draw a square table. Another student can draw a circular table, depending on their background knowledge. So you cannot ignore their constructs, and the problems that they bring to the class will change. So they will continue working on different problems. Now, the inquiry cycle, the suggested and the most commonly accepted cycle is like this. Students ask questions when they face with a kind of a problem. They start investigation. They create some solutions. They discuss on the solutions. They apply, and then they reflect. If they see that it doesn't work, then the circle starts once again. It is not a linear process. How can we employ inquiry-based learning in the foreign language classroom? This is very, of course, important, dear colleagues. Now, I wonder, I investigate, I record, I discover, I think, I try, I reflect. Again, an inquiry learning cycle. Here, the students should start the circle with wondering. If a student does not wonder what's happening around him, engaging that student in the cycle is very difficult. That's why the role of parents and school culture is very important in inquiry-based learning. If their questions have been ignored in the family, if they were always asked to be quiet, then they stop wondering. They just start to accept what is being told. The same is valid for the primary school and kinder school teachers as well. We have to let our students be free to ask their questions, the things that they wonder. And we should guide them to investigation. We should guide them to record what they have investigated, describe them, classify them, analysis and synthesis. These are all very important life skills as well. So they should also think on the solutions that they figure out, and they should apply them, try what they have found in the field, and then they should reflect. And depending on their reflection, they should know how to revise, rethink, improvise, and conclude. As I have told in the beginning of my speech, it integrates higher order skills. We can make use of inquiry-based learning in teaching vocabulary, like engaging them in negotiation of meaning, discovering the embedded cultural essence, for example, acquisition of syntax in a theme-based syllabus. So if you understand the logic between the lines, you can apply it in any subject, in any language skill, in grammar, in vocabulary teaching, in reading, in writing. Reading and writing, I guess, are both easier skills to apply it, right? Speaking also. Okay. As you know, in order to provoke the thinking skills of our students and their metacognitive skills, we have to be good at asking questions as language teachers. So these language questions, the questions that we ask as language teachers, generally, unfortunately, I sometimes go and visit my colleagues in the schools and supervise them. They ask reflection, they ask some suggestions. The first thing that I note on my notebook is, can you please reflect on the way that you ask questions? The things are generally, the questions that the teachers ask are generally echoic questions, actually. I will not go into detail of these question types. They are very much theoretical, but I am sure you know some of the details. Display questions, you know, we ask for some answers, direct answers from the students. Echoic questions, right? You understand, right? Is it true? Really? Like, just without asking the reason, without asking how something happens, without asking the information. Okay, and now I will go into, I am having some difficulty in changing the slides, so sorry. Okay. Yes. Now, in effective question delivery to promote inquiry-based learning in foreign language acquisition, Bloom, you know, Benjamin Bloom is a very important education person, the father of education, one of the fathers of pedagogy in the field. You know, Bloom starts with knowledge. He says, give the knowledge to the student, help them comprehend, ask them apply, make them analyze, synthesize, and evaluation. But when it comes to questioning, we generally, as language teachers, stay in the knowledge and comprehension stages. We ask what the knowledge is. We try to test whether they really understood or not, but we stop there. However, the last 4 stages are more important. How can they apply? How can they analyze? How can they synthesize? And how can they evaluate, reflect on the subject? For example, I will give an example about it. Lee gives this example, actually. The teacher announces that there is a great concert in town. Let students get more information about it by asking questions in the target language, like, when is the concert, what kind or whose concert is it, where is it, how much is the admission, how can I get there, who is interested in attending this event, why? Okay, a series of questions can be applied to the topic of shopping, for example, as another subject in a supermarket, from single information seeking to the solicitation of opinions and comments. For example, what do you have for breakfast? What stuff will you prepare for a birthday party? Where can these things be purchased? What supermarkets do you have in your neighborhood? Which one do you like? And why? So starting from knowledge, we are coming to the final stage, evaluation, asking why questions. And okay, you can also find very beautiful websites about inquiry-based learning. Here is one of the I will check whether I can open the website. Okay, you can see, I guess. Okay, here, dear colleagues, you see that how inquiry-based learning is applied in a classroom. One of the schools is explaining, for example, one of the schools here in English, project proposal here, offers students the opportunity to shape their focus questions and projects via project proposal. 2 examples: what is the easiest way to build a computer? What are the best fitness apps for teens, for example? These are the 2 project proposals that the teachers suggest. And at this point, the teacher says, I usually do a series of short lessons about asking good questions, as well as talk through formulating my own possible IBL project, etc. Then research and learning, then creating or doing, and reflection. So here are the reflective process. Discuss your project focus question and why you choose this topic and why it was important to you as a learner. Review the research you conducted regarding your focus question. Explain how you used your research to create an action. Reflect on whether or not your project was a success. What are your next steps regarding your project? Will you continue working with your driving question? And of course, here comes the last step. They should share and assess the projects of each other. Okay, now, sorry. As you see, dear colleagues, it has been applied very frequently, and you can find lots of examples in the fields. However, as any pedagogy, as any approach has, it is not without challenges. Of course, it has some challenges, it has some benefits, of course. What are they? It improves metacognition of students. It creates high motivation because they are happy, they find something new, they learn themselves, they are engaged, they are not thinking like us, actually, like we did when we were students. Autonomy, you give students autonomy, responsibility, meaningful learning chance, and high interaction, high participation within the classroom is observed. And there is no grouping or there is no bullying in the classroom because they are all very much busy. And they undertake independent inquiry, responsibility for personal learning, and student talk time and teacher talk time changes. This is very important. Students inquire, talk much more than the teachers. They share, they collaborate, they learn. And of course, what are the challenges? First of all, it requires knowledge and skill. That's why there are 3 types of inquiry. You know, we start from structured one and go through the open one. It requires some pedagogical sophistication to manage in terms of the teacher. And measuring the quality of inquiry can be sometimes subjective. Trying to be objective can be difficult. However, it requires alternative assessment. You have to assess the process, not the product, and using discourse and discussion to encourage more effective inquiry-based learning is very much necessary, but it gives another burden on the shoulders of the teachers. There are some frequently asked questions in terms of inquiry-based learning. When I go to teacher training, I receive such questions. How do I teach my students necessary grammar and vocabulary by the help of inquiry-based learning? First of all, if you need to cover a lot of ground with your students because they need to study for an exam or because they still need to learn the basics, it's a good idea to mix things up between traditional lessons and inquiry-based activities. You cannot only engage your students in inquiry-based learning. In your traditional lessons, you can do the prep work for teaching grammar and vocabulary, and during the active learning phase, your students can experiment with the newly learned language by using it freely, actually. Another question: how does this method affect the students' motivation and participation? First of all, during the process of solving the problem, everybody is really engaged, and involved in the process. Each student has their tasks, such as researching, collecting data, making the presentation, or leading the group in the class. That's why it increases participation and motivation. Another commonly asked question: can you recommend inquiry-based learning for both in-person and online classes? Nowadays we are very much in an online education process. Since inquiry-based active learning relies a lot on the students' direct communication and flexible cooperation, I've been using this method only in the physical classroom so far. However, I can imagine that it could work very well for an online class too, if you create a kind of internet cast, make a virtual treasure hunt, for example, or ask your students to write a profile on their favorite singer, musician, or actor. It works, actually, and it worked. I have been trying it. And another commonly asked question: does the method work for any level of English learners? It really works. I am teaching students from different levels. I have students who are 12 years old. I have students who are 20 years old. And I have been using this method very frequently in all my lessons, I can say. First of all, it gives you time, my dear colleagues. Your time is very much valuable. And in traditional classes, you are becoming very much exhausted and tired because you are using most of the time of the class. Here, you leave space to the students, and it gives you some time and time to breathe and time to observe your students' progress. So advanced level students, intermediate level students can really make use of this methodology. And another question: do you have any advice for TEFL, TESOL teachers who are new to using inquiry-based learning? I asked this question to one of my colleagues, an English teacher, and he gave this answer: enjoy the lesson with your students. I love the answer, actually. I think some teachers feel that they are not needed if they are not standing in front of the class or if they are not actively instructing their students. However, taking on the role of a facilitator is really rewarding, as I have told you, as it allows you to observe your students closely, get a feeling for their progress, promote students' talking time, and last but not least, share the explorative classroom atmosphere with your students. To wrap up, I am concluding. I am coming to the end. The active pace of inquiry-based lessons usually gets your students moving, talking, and problem solving. It is best to pick a topic or a problem that targets your students' interest, that is age and level appropriate, and that at the same time gives your students a chance to explore and use English in a natural way. Yes, this is the end. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening very attentively. Now I am here to answer your questions, my dear friends, my dear colleagues. Do you have any questions? I thank you, Zehracığım. I thank you. Okay. Ali Hocam, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. I'm trying to be practical as much as possible. Nazan Hocam, thank you so much. Thank you. This is a very lovely screen, actually, seeing such beautiful colleagues here. I hope to meet you in person as soon as possible, actually. I really missed to touch in the eyes of people, actually, without any screen.
We would like that as well, Hocam. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
Hocam. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for us to host you, and we hope to meet you face to face.
I thank you. I thank you, Hocam. Okay, I guess there is no answer, no question.
Okay, then.
You are getting thank yous, Hocam. No questions, because it was very practical and concise, as one of our colleagues said. So it was really clear. Thank you very much. And we really do hope to meet you in person. Yes, you are right. Seeing people, meeting them, and looking them in the eye, maybe it will be, I'm sure, more enjoyable for everyone, maybe more interesting, as you also said. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hocam. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hope to meet you again.
Ali Hocam, I think...
So, yes, thank you everyone for joining today again. Hope to meet in another event. Let me end the session.